what I see when centers start up is that centers start up and they have a budget based on what kind of money they can raise. So they've raised a certain amount of money to start their store. And when they do that, what they do is that they handicap themselves in many other areas, like store design, layout, and feel, because they're so keyed in on the technology side and making sure that they've got the best computers or the right size screens and all of those other things, which are equally as important. But these poor centers have to choose between A, B, or C. They can't just build the whole full picture. Now, I say this with a grain of salt because, again, I'm just as bad as everybody else. But you could open up a center like the picture of the bad center that JMac put on the screen for everybody. And as soon as you open it up, you'll still have some people come in because it's new and exciting. It may be the first one in your town. It may be the first one in your city, maybe the first one in your country. It's going to give players a reason to come in and check it out. But will those players come back, and how often will they come back, and will they become regular customers? So let's go on real quickly now to one that I used to think was a good one. So this is a picture of Cy Games, which is a center that was ran by Josh Tacey, who's a friend of mine up in near Detroit, Michigan, inside of a big like 12 screen movie theater. And when Josh was there, his plan is that he was going to use this movie theater to expand out land centers all over that movie theater's footprint and build these centers inside the theater. And it was a beautiful center at the time. I remember looking at it and thinking, this is great. But now that I've went back and looked at that picture, I'm sorry, Josh, but I don't think it's that good of a design of a center either. It was, fit into the mold of that movie theater. But in today's world, where centers need to be, I don't think it's a good design either. They had a lot of technology advances, like a cool touchscreen system that was able to move like a video feed A over to screen B, like 40 different inputs, 40 different outputs. It was a lot of cool things going on there because it was inside a movie theater. It matched the decor of the movie theater, and it had a cool snack bar, albeit not cheap because it's movie theater prices for food and drinks. But it, at the time, best centers that I can remember ever seeing. Now, back a little bit of history for eBash. We started eBash inside of a warehouse that had some office space because at the time we ran an eBay consignment store. And so when we ran that eBay consignment store, we had semis coming in regularly dropping off merchandise. We had shipping companies going out, taking things we were selling, about 400 to 500 items a week. So it was a typical big warehouse space with a front door on the side that had some offices. All those offices weren't used, and so our idea for eBash is that we would just start up a couple offices and put some systems in them. And all of our regular customers back then and today that have become, they were 15-year-olds then, now they're 25-year-olds now, 26, 27-year-olds. They all talk about the old eBash, how great it was. It was really cool, and it had that club kind of secret society type of feel, and it's funny, but at the time, looking back at it, it was a junky setup. It was, we tried to spruce it up with pictures on the walls, and we tried to make like a front counter that looked kind of high tech, but literally looked like a warehouse office space, and PCs and Xboxes were lined up inside. And at that time, that's what players would play on. They took what they could get, as far as a social gaming experience. They couldn't play a lot of high-speed stuff at home. And the industry's changing. We talk about this every time we do a show, JMac, how the industry is evolving all around the world, slowly but surely. Players are getting some of the high-tech experiences at home. You can't rely on that being the reason why people come to your center anymore. So in 2006, we moved out of that warehouse into the current space that we're in Terre Haute. It's 4,000 square feet. It was completely new on the inside. So everything that we did, it was a big open space. We built our rooms. We built our front counter from scratch. Everything was built brand new. And immediately we saw a big jump in sales. It was almost doubled sales monthly. The first month we moved into the new location for a couple different reasons. It was a little better of a location visually, like you could see it better. When you walked in, we made it bright. We made it open. We made it welcoming for a lot of the parents that were concerned leaving their younger kids at the old place. And so immediately all the old school guys didn't like the new space as much because it wasn't as much of a cool back alley club that they could go to. But obviously our sales went way up, and it was the right decision at the time. We did some upgrade and changes over the next few years. Obviously, as we did that, it brought people in, it brought people back. Like they wanted to see when we went to high definition. They wanted to see when we went to Xbox 360s and PlayStation 3s. They wanted to see anytime we redid a room with new computers or we got bigger monitors. So they would come back for those little things, but they wouldn't necessarily stay long term. Right now, we have a problem at eBash in that we still bring in 200 plus new customers per store every month, and we're just not keeping those customers around. At a staff meeting Monday or Sunday night, we talked about why, and I think it is because we are like everybody else in this world that has built a LAN center, and we've focused on the technology and the systems and things, and we've not made a good experience. So go ahead, JMac. Let's put the good center picture up on the screen for everybody. This is what I think we need to work on as an industry, is we need to work on creating a space that is cutting edge, high tech, and welcoming to gamers of all different types, knowing that that center looks like $1 million. Now, the picture that we've got here is not cost $1 million to produce. In fact, over the next couple of weeks, I think we're going to be able to reveal some other details about this picture and some of the things that we're looking at. But in Terre Haute at our eBash store, we're preparing for a massive renovation, ripping out walls, ripping out rooms, opening up the space, and we're looking at this design that you see on your screen being implemented into our store. So when you walk in the front door, you will see a store that looks like what you see on the screen. So wall hangings that are lit, that have spaces for LED TVs to be hung, lighting in the ceiling that is lit up cool, that has like a high-tech futuristic feel to it, flooring that has either vinyl stickers or like thrown projections down from above with different game things and everything else on there. So we're talking with a company that's building 100 centers in Asia right now that's using this type of stuff to build those centers. And they've got the hardware design figured out, but they don't know what to give their customers when it comes to how to run your business and how to get players to come in and what do you do with software and those sort of things. Light bulb on for us, that's what we specialize in. That's what we're really good at, is we're really good at running events. We're really good at going to sponsors. We're getting really, really good connections with a lot of game companies. And so eBash is really going to take the leap here, and we're going to be the guinea pig, and we're going to say, okay, is this the next step for all of us as LAN centers? Can we put together a package so that I can go to Brent at Gamehaven and say, Brent, here's this package I'm going to put in for you. It's going to cost you X amount of dollars. We're going to help you find financing for it. We're going to put this stuff in. You're going to rebrand your store and redo the inside of your store. Brent would probably be the first guy to come to us and say, absolutely, I'd love my store to look like that. He's got a pretty brand new store he just built, but all of us have budget concerns and we have to cut short on the way we make our store appear. And therefore, when you come in, you just get that experience of rows of general counters, rows of general tables, rows of general chairs. Like even if somebody's gotten a deal with DX Racer or somebody to put those chairs in, that doesn't spruce up your store and make your store feel like, that experience that you need to feel when you walk into a place.